And there's also more dorm policies. I know that there's things about open flames, certain lights that you can't have, pets. If you could maybe go over that, please,
Absolutely.
for me.
We have, every floor has a list of prohibited items posted. The RAs, that's part of the RA job responsibility, is to post those. And so I would always refer students to look at those for sort of a comprehensive list. But pets are not permitted except fish in freshwater aquariums. And so that's one of the pets that we do allow. But that means no frogs, no lizards, no guinea pigs, other things that can be contained in the aquarium. It needs to be fish specifically in freshwater aquariums. Other prohibited items are things like toasters, anything where there's an open burning surface, toasters, toaster ovens. We do allow irons, we do allow coffee pots. I mean, actually, this is the first institution I've ever worked at that allowed coffee pots. But I'm not prepared to take that away, knowing that coffee is so important to our students. But we do ask that those have an automatic off switch that will turn off over time. Incense, candles are prohibited, and again, those are open flames. Halogen lamps, torch lamps, or however you say that, are also not permitted. Stringed lights, the old traditional Christmas lights that we all grew up with, are those that are those that we do not allow on campus. We've changed this past year to allow students to bring in LED lights, and now they can have them up year-round. LED lights have a little bit more of an oval, rounded edge instead of that pointy edge that the old traditional Christmas lights have. The boxes are labeled LED, and they're more energy efficient, and they're also cooler, so they're not the kind of fire hazard that the traditional Christmas lights were. So that's an important change in policy this year. Tobacco products, so cigarettes, and tobacco of any kind is not permitted in the residence halls. Fabrics on the overhead lights or curtains, self-made curtains that students sometimes bring in, are not permitted. The ones we have up are fire rated. They're ugly, I know, but they are fire rated, and that is for the safety of students.
Now, what exactly happens if I have a problem with my roommate? We're not getting along, this, that, or the next thing. Like, what point do I go to an RA or an RD with my problems?
I think that depends a lot on the particular student involved. Some of our students have great conflict management skills and have great relationships with the roommates that they've chosen for themselves. And so when those issues arise, they're able to deal with it pretty independently and pretty confidently. Sometimes in those particular situations, they get to a point where the conflicts that they have are just too uncomfortable, and the room becomes just not a welcome place to be. And at that point, in those kinds of situations, that's when I would recommend that they pull an RA in to the situation. Always share with the RA the detail with which you've dealt with it. So if a student has worked hard on it and it's just not working, make sure to share that with the RA. We do ask students to go through a mediation process, and so if the student can't have a one-on-one conversation and successfully move through that conflict, the RA will sit down with the two students, or sometimes 3 or 4 students that are involved. A mediation is not intended to be judicial, or it is intended to be a conversation starter, to sort of level the playing field, sort of create a safe space where emotions can be muted a little bit, and we can talk about what the real issues are. Probably the most important thing, I think, when you're thinking about choosing a roommate is to think about what you both want from that roommate relationship. Am I looking for my maid of honor at my wedding, or am I looking for someone that I can just simply live well with? Can I be this, our students are busy, they're involved, they're not there often, and they need that space to be a space of comfort when they come back. So am I choosing someone who I'm going to be with 24/7, and when I come back to the room, we're going to continue to talk about the same things that have frustrated me out in the classroom or out in the student organization that I'm involved in? Or is this somebody that I can just sit quietly with and be okay? And I would always recommend that you find someone that you can live well with and not necessarily be your best friend.
So switching gears once again, I understand that although I live in the dorm, it's not mine. So things tend to get damaged. So what would I do if something does happen to get broken or damaged in any way, shape, or form?
If it's in your own room, wear and tear happens, and we realize that. So if something is in your room and it gets broken or isn't working, talk to your RA. That's what he or she is there for. And they know how to submit a work order so that it gets to physical plant and can be dealt with according to their priority structure.
And that was Gina Vance, the head of Residence Life. Thank you so much.